Steam is going absolutely crazy again, and there are some seriously good deals you need to know about right now. We're talking games dropping to 100% off, huge AAA discounts, legendary franchises selling for almost nothing, and even a few games you can play for free with your friends. Some of these offers are ending very soon, so if you've been waiting for the right time to expand your Steam library, you definitely don't want to miss this list. Let's jump straight into it. We're starting with Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Both are currently available for a massive 95% off, and honestly, I've been waiting for a deal like this for a very long time. These are exactly the kind of games that become even better when you have a few friends to play with. You can sneak into enemy bases, coordinate attacks, silently take out targets, call in vehicles, and completely plan your own approach to every mission. Wildlands is especially fun if you want a huge open world where you and your friends can simply decide what to do next. One mission might turn into a perfectly coordinated stealth operation, while the next somehow ends with everyone driving through the enemy base in a stolen helicopter. And Breakpoint gives you a much more survival-focused experience with a massive open world, different environments, tactical combat, and plenty of ways to customize your character and weapons. And there's even more good news. Both games are currently available to play for free for a limited time through Ubisoft Connect, so you can actually try them with your friends before deciding whether you want to buy them. At 95% off, these are some of the biggest bargains in the entire video, especially if you've been looking for a good tactical co-op shooter. And next, NBA 2K26 is available to play for free until August 14th, so if you've ever wanted to see what the latest NBA 2K has to offer, this is a great chance to jump in without spending anything. NBA 2K26 brings the usual combination of realistic basketball, career modes, online matches, and a huge amount of content. You can build your own player, improve their skills, compete against other players, or simply jump into a quick game with friends. And because it's only available to play for a limited time, you can use this opportunity to see if the game is actually worth buying for you. If you're a basketball fan, there's really no reason not to give it a try while you can. Moving on, the LEGO Batman Trilogy is currently 90% off, and this is a deal that's really hard to ignore. You get 3 classic LEGO Batman games in one collection. You can play as Batman, Robin, and a huge lineup of DC characters. You'll fight villains, solve puzzles, collect secrets, and destroy pretty much everything around you. And of course, the classic LEGO humor is everywhere. The games don't take themselves too seriously, which makes them incredibly fun to play. They're also great in co-op, so if you want something relaxed to play with a friend or with your family, this is a really good choice. And at 90% off, the entire trilogy is basically a steal, especially if you never played these games when they first came out. And if you're a racing fan, there's another huge franchise sale you definitely need to know about. The entire Need for Speed series is currently discounted by up to 95% off. That includes some of the most popular games in the franchise, from Most Wanted and Hot Pursuit to Payback, Heat, and Unbound. If you want classic arcade racing, Most Wanted is still an absolute fan favorite. If you want high-speed police chases, Hot Pursuit is hard to beat. And if you want something newer, Heat and Unbound offer open worlds, customization, and plenty of fast street racing. With some games costing just a couple of dollars, this is a perfect opportunity to grab a few Need for Speed titles you've missed over the years. And next, the Quarry is sitting at a massive 90% off, and this is one of the best choices on the list if you're looking for something with a strong story. The game follows a group of teenagers spending their final night at a summer camp. What starts as a normal evening quickly turns into a complete nightmare, and from that point on, almost every decision you make can have serious consequences. The interesting part is that there isn't really one guaranteed ending. Your choices can determine who survives, who doesn't, and how the story develops. It's basically an interactive horror movie where you're in control of the characters, and the game is especially fun when you play it with friends because everyone can argue over what decision to make next. At 90% off, The Quarry is absolutely worth checking out if you enjoy cinematic horror and games where your choices actually matter. And next, Golf with Your Friends is currently 90% off, and if you're looking for something simple to play with friends, this one is almost impossible to put down. It looks like a normal mini golf game, but the courses are filled with crazy obstacles, moving platforms, jumps, loops, and plenty of ways to completely ruin someone else's perfect shot. The best part is how quickly things can turn into chaos. You can be having a perfect round 1 second, and then one bad bounce sends your ball flying in the wrong direction, and somehow the person who was losing the entire game can still come back and win on the final hole. It's easy to learn, works perfectly for casual game nights, and you don't need to spend hours learning complicated mechanics. At 90% off, Golf with Your Friends is one of those games that's always worth having in your library Quarry for when your friends are online. Moving on, Inside and Limbo are both currently 90% off, and if you've never played these games, you're missing two of the most memorable indie experiences on Steam. Both games are short, atmospheric puzzle platformers that tell their stories without constantly explaining what's happening. Instead, you discover everything through the environment, the sound design, and the strange worlds you're moving through. Limbo is darker and more mysterious with its black and white art style, creating an incredibly unsettling atmosphere. Inside takes that idea even further with a larger world, more complex puzzles, and a story that becomes increasingly disturbing the deeper you go. Neither game is very long, but that's actually part of the appeal. They don't waste your time, and almost every moment feels carefully designed. At 90% off, you can grab both for almost nothing, and if you enjoy atmospheric games with puzzles and unusual stories, these are absolute classics. And next, Murdered Soul Suspect is also 90% off, and this is a really interesting choice if you want something different from the usual action games. You play as a detective who is murdered at the beginning of the story. The twist is that you wake up as a ghost, and now you have to investigate your own murder. Since you're already dead, you can walk through walls, explore places you couldn't access as a normal person, and even possess certain characters to learn more about what's happening. The main focus is investigation rather than combat. You'll search for clues, question witnesses, explore the supernatural side of the city, and slowly piece together the mystery behind your own death. It has a unique concept and a very different atmosphere from most detective games. At 90% off, it's definitely worth checking out if you enjoy mystery games with a supernatural twist. And next, Hard Reset is also 90% off, and if you're a fan of old school first-person shooters, this one is definitely worth checking out. There are actually two versions on sale, Hard Reset Extended Edition and Hard Reset Redux, and both are heavily discounted right now. This is a fast and brutal shooter from the creators of Shadow Warrior with a strong focus on pure action. You're fighting through a futuristic city filled with robots, using powerful weapons and special abilities to destroy anything standing in your way. There are no huge open worlds or complicated RPG systems here. It's just fast combat, big explosions, and plenty of enemies coming at you from every direction. If you miss those old school shooters that simply let you pick up a weapon and start destroying everything in sight, Hard Reset is a really fun choice, and at 90% off, it's definitely worth adding to your library. And before we finish, there's one more deal I really want to mention, especially if you have a friend to play with. We Were Here Together is currently available for free on the Epic Games Store for a limited time. This is a co-op puzzle game where you and your friend are separated from each other. You can't see the same things, you don't have the same information, and that's where the teamwork comes in. One player might find a clue that the other player needs. You have to describe what you see, listen to your friend, and figure out the solution together. And trust me, some of these puzzles can get really frustrating. You might spend 10 minutes trying to explain something that seems obvious to you, while your friend has absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But that's also what makes the game so much fun. If you have someone to play with, definitely give We Were Here Together a try while it's available. And that's it for today's best gaming deals. We've got games you can grab for 100% off, massive AAA discounts, great co-op games, and some seriously good deals that are worth checking out right now. Let me know in the comments which game you're picking up, and if you found a great deal that I missed, definitely share it down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Steam deals, limited time offers, and the best discounts every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.